Hi, welcome to the Recovery Daily Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Abbasi. I'm a grateful recovering alcoholic and stroke survivor. And today is supposed to be our book review day, but I am going to postpone that until tomorrow. So I hope the whole world doesn't start protesting. But I haven't finished it. That's honestly why I wanted to wait another day. So I'm going to do the book review for Finding Elevation tomorrow instead of today. I wanted to talk about my Thanksgiving and how the holiday went for me. And I also wanted to include the topic the topic came up in one of my morning meetings, and I thought it was important about the making amends with people and feeling like exhausted by the idea that people will never forgive you, or like they keep exhibiting behavior as if they don't forgive you, kind of thing. And how to handle that, how I've handled it at least. So that's it. So I wanted to start out by talking about Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a good holiday. I did take 2 days off. My daughter was here, and it was a lot. It was a lot for my head. So I wanted to just go ahead and take it off. So we went to my sister's house on Thanksgiving. So this was the longest car ride I have made for about a year and a half. And I really, I never cease to underestimate the power of my chronic pain and my disability, because I really was like, yes, I'm ready. I've been resting all week, aside from doing some online shopping that I wasn't supposed to do because I vowed to stop shopping for the week so that my head could rest. I didn't do that because I'm just a glutton for punishment. But I felt pretty good, actually. Like I had been taking naps and stuff. So we rode out there. I kept my eyes closed. I do a really good job keeping my eyes closed when I'm in the car with my husband. Um, I guess it's just a trust factor. I'm not quite sure, but I feel comfortable. And when I have my eyes closed with other people, it's very stressful for me, and I have a hard time doing it. So we rode out there, and as soon as we pulled up, I just felt I was exhausted. I was nauseous. And we just sat in the car for a couple of minutes, and I just sat there and kept my eyes still. I felt like I had just ridden a roller coaster. Like it wasn't good. I think what the problem was there was that when we got into the neighborhood, I opened my eyes because I wanted to see what it looked like approaching her house, because this is a new house that I had never seen. They had bought it like a year ago, maybe over a year ago, and I hadn't seen it yet. So I wanted to see like where they were living, and I opened my eyes to just see what the streets looked like. And I think that's what caused that immediate nausea and not feeling good. I think I also was excited, and it's important that I keep my excitement to a minimum, because that starts triggering my head too. I think just simply because I move my eyes around a lot when I get excited, as anybody else would, move your head around and move your eyes around. So I apologize for yawning, but I just took a nap. So we pulled up, we went in, I gave people hugs, and then I really just wanted to sit still. So I went and sat on the couch, and my brother-in-law brought me a glass of water, which was so nice of him. And I just kind of sat there and stared at the ground. And which is not exciting, when you haven't seen people forever. So I just sat there and stared at the ground. Um, and then eventually I drank that glass of water and that really helped. And then I was able to at least say hi to everybody slowly and found out that one of my nieces is getting married and I'm super excited for her. So she announced that to everybody. They had gotten engaged the day before Thanksgiving. And then I got to see my little great niece Paisley. Oh, I'm not supposed to say names. Oh, baby Paisley. I broke my own rule, but it's such a beautiful name. It's hard not to share it. And so I saw her mama and dad and yeah, and my mom came. So that was really nice. It was so fun to be able to be in one place with all of my, a lot of my family members all in one place because I haven't been able to do that in a year and a half too, to have that many people around me. So it was just great. I loved it. And we ate some charcuterie, which happened to be the charcuterie setup that my niece's fiance spread out. Um, I think they went for a hike or something. I'm not quite sure, but he laid out this I mean, the size of a room, like charcuterie set up, and they had a picnic, and he proposed to her and everything. So that's freaking amazing. So he brought all of that stuff over, and that's what we ate from. And then I brought my Moroccan winter soup, which was, I think it was a hit. I don't know. I thought it was delicious. Um, so we ate and then we sat around for a bit and talked and we called my brother because my brother doesn't live in our area and that was nice to hear his voice. And we just sat around. There's two other little boys there that are my nieces, and we got to play with them. I hadn't seen them in quite some time because of not being able to be around people or travel. So I hadn't seen them, and they were adorable. So then we ended up driving back home. We left before I started feeling bad. So that actually, what am I saying? Like, I felt bad the whole time. So it was just a matter of just knowing my limits. And so we stayed for about 2 hours. And then I said that it was time for us to go, even though I would have stayed for hours more, but it was just time for me to go home and rest. So when we were leaving, after I gave everybody hugs, I was at the door and I gave my sister a hug and I just broke down crying. I started crying when I was telling my niece that has the three children how proud I was of her. That's when I started getting all choked up and then or crying. I was full on crying already. Then I was at the door and my sister gave me a hug and I just like sobbed. And I think that's because it just meant so much to me that that I was overwhelmed with feels. I was overwhelmed with happiness. Yes, I was also sad because I don't get to do that. It's a gift. And what I realized um, on Thanksgiving was how much of a gift it is that we get to spend time with our loved ones, that we live in a society. If you can not argue with your family over politics, that you can get together and enjoy each other and grow up together. It's just a gift to be near my family. They just mean the world to me, and so it made me break down temporarily. But it is I appreciate and am grateful for the ability to see that, the ability to feel that. And why do I feel that? Because I'm sober. If I wasn't sober right now, I wouldn't be able to feel that deeply. That gratitude, wouldn't be there as much. It really wouldn't. And I get to capture those gratitude snapshots, you know. Um, this way that I practice sobriety is the happiest way. Being able to peel the onion back and see all the layers of my personality, the layers of my behavior, my character, and address the things that need to be addressed. And because of that, it makes room for enjoyment. I have so much more space to just sit and dance in. You know, it's like having a room full of furniture and there's no place to dance. And the program allowed me to clear out all of that furniture and just leave the essentials. And now I have room to dance, you know, to really enjoy life in that room. Um, so I wanted to transition slightly over to making amends because it was important for me that I made amends with these family members and not only apologized for my behavior in some instances, but to talk to them about and share with them my new way of life, that I don't do things the way that I used to do it. And I'm not going to be able to sit down, apologize, and then say, but I'm a different person now. That doesn't happen. It's not like somebody's going to be like, oh, you're sorry and you're a different person now. Oh, okay, then everything's fine. It doesn't work that way, right? I mean, I'm sure there are lots of people who say they're sorry and the other person just doesn't forgive them. You know, they may say they forgive them, but you can tell through their behavior that they're just not on board. And that's where living amends comes in. For me, that's the greatest amends that I have made, is being able to show my new way of life. And I I know that my family and my friends can see it. They've told me that they see it, that I'm just a different person than I used to be. I'm still the same person who did it, but my behavior is much different. And it's real behavior. It's not, I don't have to try to be this way. It's the behavior that was born from me clearing that furniture out of the room. Um, Somebody shared in one of my meetings, I think it was yesterday. Um, no, it was probably the day before because yesterday was full of gratitude. Um, Wait, what's today? Oh, no. Okay. So, yeah, a couple days ago. Sorry. I know it's probably irritating when I'm trying to figure out what day things happened, but I like to know. I like to be solid on what days things happened. Yesterday, I'll tell you about what happened yesterday. I had fun yesterday too. Anywho, somebody shared in one of my meetings the topic of amends. And she said, I'm tired of this, quote unquote. She said, I'm tired of this because she is in that phase of her sobriety where she's making amends, but yet she's not feeling like she's getting forgiveness. And I get that. I my first year of sobriety, I remember driving home from work, which is like an hour and a half drive, was an hour and a half drive. And I said the same thing to myself. I said, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of being sober. That's what I remember thinking to myself. But I immediately thought, but this is the easier, softer way. If I was still drinking, it's it's harder. Life is harder. Um, but I just remember feeling like it's so tiring to keep doing all of this work. Um, and I know it gave me this feeling like I want to give up. Like I want to just go drink. I want to stop being responsible. I want to just relax. And that was what I was doing, was constructing an excuse to stop being consistent, to stop practicing my program and just take a break. Like, I just want to drink, just give me a break. I can't be perfect. Well, I could lay off my program and not drink and not be perfect, but that's what it felt like. It felt like I needed to stop um, being perfect. Like I felt like that's what I was being perfect. I was practicing the program perfectly. That's what it felt like. But any stray from that feeling that I had of practicing the program perfect, and I wasn't practicing it perfectly, but it felt like that at that moment, that I'm like, I'm not giving myself any leeway, because leeway would mean that I'm drinking. And coincidentally or not, the moment that I thought I'm tired of being sober was at the same moment that I passed by this gas station where I would secretly go get wine when I was supposed to be sober after my first detox. So I think that that was all related. I was tired. It's important to look at, am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? Well, I was everything, because I was heading home from work on an hour and a half drive. So I was all of those things, and I just wanted to escape. So it is, it is hard, but it's easy. It's the easier way. It's very complicated to drink and sustain any right way of living. So thankfully, I was able to see that quickly after I said, I'm tired of this. But when this lady said it the other day, I was thinking of that moment for me, how it felt like I was working so hard, but I wasn't getting anywhere. And for her, she was trying to work really hard at amends, but she wasn't getting anywhere. And a lot of people were sharing their opinions about how to get through that mindset of being tired of this, like getting tired of like chipping away at concrete. Um, and what some folks shared was, it's not, um, it's it's I think chipping away at concrete is you trying to control the other person's response. You can't do it. You just can't do it. What I shared is that making amends to other people is not about what they do with that amends. It's not about how they respond to your amends. It's about what you do without it, after you've let it go, after you've shared your amends with them. It's, how do I respond now to my relationship with that person now that I've made my amends with them? Well, number one, I have to live my amends after that. Like, I have to be consistent and practice the program in all of my affairs. My relationship with that person is no longer based on how can I correct my relationship. It's about how can I nurture my relationship. So I've talked about the thing that happened, or the many things. I've talked about the stuff that was blocking our relationship. And I have showed them how um, I'm I'm doing everything I can in order to not behave that way anymore. Um, and they can take it or leave it. I didn't understand that what it meant when people said you need to make your amends with no expectations. And I think I've even shared on this podcast episode, or this podcast, not this episode, this podcast, how I didn't get it. I didn't understand what amends without expectations are, but I get it. Like the other day was where I had that little mini epiphany where I'm like, oh, okay. So that means that I thought if I'm making amends, yeah, of course I have an expectation. I expect them to forgive me or to, yeah, forgive me. Um, and making amends with no expectations, for me, the way I've translated it now after this meeting is I've made my amends and now I need to focus on what I do now. So it's still me in those sentences. I've made my amends and I need to focus on me and what I'm going to do now. Now that I've handed over that amends, now what do I do with that space? Do I dance in the space or am I going to move more furniture in? Um, before I was looking at, okay, now I've made my amends to you. Now I want to see how you react to me now. Well, it's not my job to figure out how they're going to react, and I can't control it. What I need to do is continue to look at me and continue to work on me. No matter how far I have gone in sobriety, my past seems like it's still stuck in yesterday, like right near me. It's like I can't get far enough away from my past, and yet my past just keeps traveling with me. It doesn't seem to get further away. And it's almost like, I'm talking off the cuff, but when we lose somebody, and we have these vivid memories of them. What makes me very sad is how it seems like my memories fade. That the crisp image of their face over years and years um fades. I don't see the shapes and the cuts of their face anymore. It becomes more of a feeling, my memory of them. And that has always made me sad. Um, but don't I wish that my past and my regrets, I wish that they lost shape too, with time. But they don't seem to do that for me. And it's really because that memory um, of my past regrets, they contain a feeling that is so sharp and causes a reaction inside of me. Like I can think of things that I've done in my past that if I really walk through it in my mind, it can make my heart start racing and I can start sweating, thinking about how regretful I am of something that I've done. Um, and that feeling doesn't go away when I think about it. But when I make amends, what I'm doing is putting that memory, that regret in my God box, and I'm handing it over. I can't hold on to this anymore because it causes too much pain for me. I'm putting it in that um, imaginary God box or the real one, and I'm shutting the lid, and I'm not allowing myself to feel that anymore. Because if I allow myself to hold on to it, I'm at risk for drinking again. So that's what the process of the steps does for me, is that it makes the past stay where it is and stop following me, stop being my shadow and stay in the past. Um, and when I practice the steps of the program and practice the principles in all of my affairs, I get further and further away from that memory. And that is very rewarding. But what I need to do is I need to keep nurturing my relationships with whoever that is that I have that past memory with. And I do that by, again, continuing to live the program and live the steps. And that person can see over time, it is guaranteed that they will see that I'm a different person, that I would never do to them what I did to them in the past. And that's where the true um, forgiveness kind of peeks its head through the door. And if I continue to be consistent, it happens. And I've had it happen. I've had a person in my life who I believe to this day doesn't believe that I have a disease, that what has occurred in my life is this um you know I I lacked the strength and the I'm trying to think of the word, the ability, I guess maybe willpower, that's not the word that I'm looking for, but I lacked the ability to live life in a responsible manner. So I turned to alcohol. And then I had to learn how to stop drinking and start being responsible. Um, and I believe that person will always think that about me, that I'm just, you know, it's not a disease. It's not my job to make sure that person believes that I have a disease. It's none of my business what that person thinks. All I know is that my side of the street is clean. I have swept, I've put the trash out, trash man's come and picked it up. I've blown all the leaves away and I've swept everything clean. And that's where I have to live. I'm living on my side of the street. If they're holding on to all of this stuff and they've got all of this trash in their yard, that's not my business. All I can do is address in a loving and compassionate way how I have affected their life. And I can make amends for it. I can apologize for it, and I can show them the way that I can hopefully make our relationship better than it ever was. And that's all I can do. You know, this is this is the best life that I've ever lived, is this happy, sober life practicing the program. And the people that love me see that. It's a guarantee. They see it and they're happy for me. The people who have other ideas about what is actually happening in my life, it's none of my business, you know. I'm going to continue to try to grab gratitude snapshots throughout my life, and I'm going to continue to just bask in those deep, amazing feelings of love, like when I was leaving my sister's house and how much gratitude I felt for being able to be there and hug all of them. Because think there are things that happen in life that can take those away in in a millisecond. And that's what happened in my life. So I just find a lot more gratitude for simple things now. Um, so I wanted to end with just telling you simple things. What I did yesterday, my daughter was in town. That's another reason why I didn't do the podcast. I thought about doing it with her, but my head was just, it was too bad from all the excitement. So I went to the mall. Okay. So those of you lifetime listeners who know how I struggle with my head and my eyes, going to the mall on Black Friday seems like an impossible venture for me, but I did it. And I did it because I wanted to say that I did it. I wanted to say that I can do it. No, I could not go shopping. Um, no, if I couldn't look around at people and people watch. The only thing that I could do is walk through the mall and look over everybody's head at a point, whether it was the Macy's sign or whatever it was. I had to look over everybody's head, over all the movement, and just walk in that direction. So I softened my gaze, which allows me to not focus so much on all those people and movement. And I just started walking. And I could have passed right by, a famous person and I wouldn't have even known it. I was trying to think of a famous person that would get me excited if I passed them. Let's say J-Lo. I don't know. Would that get me excited? Probably not very much. Who's somebody? Let's say T Swizzy. I could have walked right by her and Taylor Swift. And I wouldn't have even known because I was just totally trying to focus on one thing and subside all of my triggers. So I did it, and I did go to Hallmark. That was my goal, to go to Hallmark because I love Hallmark. I didn't buy anything. Then I went to the handmade store and walked around in there for a spell as well. So it was nice. I didn't buy anything at the mall except for some muscle, like icy hot stuff for my back. And I got one of those back massages where you sit in the chair with your knees up and your hands, and they just do your back. So I did that for 20 minutes, and that was amazing. And the mall is like 10 minutes from my house. I could go there and just get one of those 20-minute massages and be as happy as could be. So, then afterwards, we went to eat at Miller's Ale House, and I got a filet mignon and half a pound of crab leg, like one cluster of crab legs. And that was amazing. And it's all because I think I went to vestibular therapy, and I've learned these techniques for uh, not triggering my head. So it's really been nice that I've been able to do that. Kind of like when I'm doing the podcast and I'm looking over the computer, it allows me to withstand whatever activity longer. And so speaking of activities, I'm going to go decorate my tree. And that is a definite head triggering activity, looking at the ornaments and trying to find the branch that I'm going to hang the ornament on. It's head triggering. So it takes me a few days to decorate the tree, but that's what I'm going to do. So 'tis the season, the decorations are out, and I'm wrapping presents. They're coming in the mail every day. So it's been super fun, and I'm really excited. I had an absolutely blessed Thanksgiving holiday. So I'm really happy for that, and I hope all of you did too. And thanks so much for showing up for me and showing up for yourself. I will talk to you tomorrow. We will have the book review, so be there or be where. Thanks.